Welcome to Project Help Learn, where you're going to learn how to download a book right into your brain. This is one of those great things that works regardless of where you're born or how old you are. Let us start with some basics about books. It may almost seem silly to think about it, yet when you're looking at a book, you're holding something that is full of symbols. Some are numerical and most are often called alphabetical. The good news is regardless of the language the alphabet represents, it is all symbols. To discover why this is important, let us go back to how we learned our language of choice. Every alphabet has an order to it, A, B, C, etc. To learn about the 26 different letters in the English alphabet, it is taught to us one single symbol at a time, as it is in most languages. Then it turns into something most people have never considered, a math equation. Once we have mastered the what the sounds are and the sequence of each of the symbols, we move up to adding them together to get words. Yes, actually adding them together. This seems to put at odds the people who believe they are really good at English, but no good at math. In the end, it is simply a perception of what you're doing. Because if you stop and think about all the letters you add up to make words, and all the words you add up to understand the idea of a paragraph, you're quite the mathematician. This also holds true for those that are really good at math and believe they are poor at learning language. It is simply a perception, because the same rule applies to being able to read as being able to do basic math. You add all the sounds together to get words, multiply all the words together to get an idea, and suddenly you're able to take a 500-page novel and sum it up in a few paragraphs because you were able to divide it down to its root symbols. Now let us add some basic brain information to the mix. Regardless of where you're born in the world, a properly functioning human brain has frontal lobes, has a cortex, has all the different parts that make up the incredible mechanism we refer to as our brain. The reason this is good news is because this makes it possible for almost everyone to be able to do this. So let us ask a couple of questions. How do brains work? Well, in anatomy class, you learned they are a bunch of neurons that send signals to each other. The more often they are used, the closer they become, and the faster that information is relayed back to you. Let us also add to this what many people call our conscious mind, that part that is self-aware, unrelated. When you walk or run or simply moving about, do you ever notice you never read the room? You see the room, download all the information into your mind, rotating at 360 degrees all in a tenth of a second, or what feels like a blink of an eye, and then navigate your way around in it. Example. Do you ever consider how many fabric fibers are in the rug or threads in the shirt you're wearing? Or do you simply see the shirt or rug as a whole because you downloaded all the information about it? Consider it for just a moment. There are thousands of fibers in your shirt or in that rug, and yet you see them all at once. You see it as a whole. Now let us go back to reading for just a moment. You look at the page and start at the top. There you begin going from left to right, doing math, adding all the letters to make words. Why do you treat the book so differently than you do the rug or your shirt? It is because we learned the alphabet as single digits and never took the next step as recognizing it like we do the rug or your shirt. The part of our mind that rotates everything in a tenth of a second did that to your shirt or the rug, but your conscious mind has never been trained to be okay with downloading all the information in the book as a whole. That is what you are going to learn how to do today. Okay, let's get back to why we are here, learning how to download a book right into your brain. This symbol-filled object called a book has normally about 4,000 bits of information on any two given pages. When I say bits of information, what I'm actually saying is about an average of 4,000 symbols on the two given pages. Now our other than conscious mind, that part that rotates everything in a tenth of a second, processing 50,000 to 1,000,000 bits of information while letting you see things as whole objects instead of their tiny pieces, brings about an interesting question. If you're processing that much information in a tenth of a second, do you think your mind can handle 4,000? The answer to that question also means to download a book into your mind is to know it. Not just to know it, but to know it forever. Because your mind never forgets anything. It is truth, just attempting to show you how truly powerful your mind really is. Because now I'm going to show you the most powerful way to get things back out of your billion-plus neuron storage facility. Remember, input in does mean input out. Your brain, love, like it, or hate it, has to answer a question. It is so ingrained in the way we humans work, it has no option to stop it. The point is, you downloaded the book, right? You then have to know what was in it because your brain saw it all. So if you go over a series of questions about the information either before downloading the book or afterwards so that your mind knows what it's looking for, How much more do you think you will know when it comes time to answer the questions in front of you? You do not like to be shoved, neither does your mind. So ask your mind, listen to what the answer is, and then trust the answer. Did I say that right? And then trust the answer. The more you do, the more accurate the information becomes. You trust the rest of your internal mechanisms, and your brain is just like you are. The more trust you're given, the easier it is to answer.
Set aside for a moment everything you know about how to read, or anything you might know about speed reading, because tonight we're going to take a look at something entirely different. It's called photo reading. The claims about photo reading sound too unbelievable to be true, but people who have learned how to do it say it's amazing. I am waiting for orders to join my new regiment, Your Excellency, said Boris, showing either. One word at a time. It's the way we were taught to read. It can be enjoyable, but not very efficient. You really feel that if you have a pile like this, you have to get through. But what if you could get through it like this? What if you could photo read?
Photo reading helps us turn the funnel right side up. We can take the entire book in at once.
Research has found that relaxed alertness is the ideal state for learning. Once relaxed, the next step is to preview the book. It also has you pull out what he calls trigger words as you preview. Analytical. Key terms that just catch your attention, and you're supposed to write them down with colored pens to get more of your mind and senses involved. Photo reading. But first, you relax again. And here, he says it's key to say positive phrases to yourself, such as,
all that I photo read makes a lasting impression on my inner mind and is available to me.
Then, when you're ready, you
open the book to the page that you'll begin on and look right through the center crease.
To your conscious mind, it looks like a blur as you flip through at a page a second. But your subconscious, Paul says, is sucking it all up like a sponge. In 5 minutes, I'd photo-read the whole book and felt completely lost. Exactly the way Matt Haug says he felt when he was learning to photo-read 2 years ago when he was 13.
And it's like, I didn't believe it, and then I thought, well, all we're doing is flipping pages, because they explained it to us, and all it was flipping pages, and it was like, how is this going to work? And then I did the process, and then it was like, wow, it works.
Matt says it has given him so much confidence in school now that he's gone from a C average to an A average. So to activate, I used mostly one of his 4 techniques. I moved my eyes rapidly down the center of each page, letting my subconscious guide me.
Literally, you can say, don't need this, don't need this, don't need this. Here, this is the thing I've been looking for. And quickly tune into it, dip in, grab it consciously, and move on.
After the first 6 minutes of activation, I was still lost. I did some more exercises to relax and got some guidance from Paul.
So remember, this whole system is driven because you're active, you're purposeful, you're questioning, and you're going for the core concept.
6 more minutes, and as strange as it sounds, the book was beginning to come alive for me, and I could actually answer questions about it.
And the key to accelerated learning this book is mental relaxation. Music is one of the most effective tools for doing that, and primarily Baroque music, composers from the early 18th century, 1700s to 1750. Albellini, Vivaldi, Bach, I forget. This is bizarre. Our different senses stores information on all subjects in all parts of our brain.
Isn't that weird?
Yes.